Morning. Good morning. You are on the lifeboat. This is Captain Calhoun. Monday morning. How is everyone? My unbrushed hair. Seventh Son, Roberta, Cheryl Niles, Lacey Silver, Charlie Mullins, Relate-A-Boat. Good to see you guys. Tara Smiling, just in time. Jason P, Becca Jean, Shannon Smith, Mira Dira, Sue B, Stay Spiria. Wow, we've got quite the crew this morning. Teresa Baldessari, good to see you. Dennis the Menace, Kristen Melinda. How is everyone? We are starting a new week. Millie the Dandelion. Hill hath no fury. Good to see you guys. We are starting anew on this Monday. My other's keeper, Vixen, Valerie, Tommy Stiggs in the house, Jamie Smith, Live for Now, Scooby Lee, Brazy Girl. It's a big day, everybody. I did a lot of thinking last night. Layla Bradley, I did sleep. Thank you for asking. I did sleep. Not as much as one would like, but I did lots of thinking, and I feel a whole lot better. I tell you what, we've got a lot to talk about. I'm excited. Philly Donna, good to see you. Yeah, it's up to us to make Mondays great. They're not going to make themselves great. But I tell you what, I did a lot of thinking last night. I don't know what was in the air or what was going on, but I've been quite a funk. This has been a weird transition. Rocket Queen, good to see you. And I realized last night I've probably been in some stage of relapse. If we pull up our nifty cheat sheet, my notes for the relapse and prevention video, this first stage of relapse is emotional. You're isolating, holding on to emotions, and taking others' inventory. I think I may have been doing this in my head and in my heart. I definitely have been isolating, and I don't know about holding on to emotions, but and right after that, I put importance of sleep and nutrition, which are two things that I do not have my thumb on right now, right? And then I wrote, if let continue, it progresses to stage two. And check this out: past use association, view starts to skew. I remember we were talking about things are starting to look a little different. I feel like I've been in such a funk, and I've been feeling so weird, and I have been having past use association, and I realized last night that I have been on this path, and that's done with today. I haven't been writing in my journal. There's been all kinds of stuff, yo. So I wrote in my journal this morning. We're gonna be back on the horse here. I'm not entirely sure what how I allowed myself to get that deep, especially like in the midst of doing a show on it and not even realizing, right? But yeah, the sleep's in the bag, the nutrition's in the bag. We're gonna make sure that moving forward that this isn't happening. You know what I mean? I was wondering. I was like, why do I feel so weird? Why do I not feel good? You know? And I don't know what made me realize this. I think it might have been the thoughts I was have about journaling. I was like, huh, maybe I should write about this. And then I thought about the relapse video that I had done. And, thank God it didn't progress to actual use or something like that, right? But man, I, I'm human just like everyone else. You know what I mean? We are we're going to walk the walk and talk the talk. We're going to do all of the above. Thank you very much. I'm a big fan of the hair too. I don't know if the move started the relapse. Lacey Silver asks, "Do you think your move started my relapse?" I think that my relapse started after the move. Is how I would put it. Um, because a lot of things were shaken up, right? So I was on me to build new routines where I had solid ones in Salt Lake that I had built, right? And I was semi successful with that, but I did not end up solidifying. I remember when we first started talking, when I first moved here, I would talk a lot about making a new routine and getting a new yeah, a new routine going, right? And I did not end up solidifying a routine. I did have somewhat success here and there with that, but nothing stuck really, especially uh, yeah, nothing really stuck. Everything remained a moving piece, right? So that's not ideal. We'd like to solidify a good routine, right? And I know what routine I want, and the only thing holding me back is me, right? I have the know-how. I have the ability to change things. I think one of the first things I'm gonna uh, do for restructuring is and I'm not doing this immediately, but I've considered changing the time of one of the boats. Now, 12 hours apart is a stretch, and especially now that we're having ripples go on and stuff. I think 8 hours apart is something that I can do much more efficiently, more effectively. So I don't know what show morning or probably I'll probably move the night show if I move something at all. But I'm gonna spend another week thinking about it. I don't want to be rash. I don't want to make a move that's going to have implications that I can't foresee. So I'm going to take another week to think about it, talk about it. But if the evening show was a little bit earlier, I think we would. I think more people would catch it, and it would be a hell of a lot easier on me, which is the point. So that's something I thought of. That'll be great, and it'll enable me to get a whole bunch more sleep. Um, no more ridiculous amounts of caffeine. It might sound like I'm listing off a bunch of stuff, but I promise it's not too much. Um, but man, it chapped my butt knowing or realizing that I had allowed myself to get into stage two. I think I'm going to go out and be a little social too at some point, even if I'm just I don't know, going to a concert or something. Early for evening sounds great, says Sandy Wandy. I'm up for earlier evening, Captain, says Brazy. Stay Spurious says the Brits could join if it was a little earlier. See, I've been seeing and hearing whispers on the wind that it might be acceptable to have a little bit earlier of a evening show. Please make one of the shows earlier. It would be very helpful. I'd like to say consider it done, but I know there's a good reason I want to think about it for a week, right? Maybe we won't think about it for a week, but there is an overwhelming amount of voice for the earlier show. And I tell you what, I'm for it. It would help me out a ton. Um, so maybe let me think on it for like a couple days or something at least. Yeah, like 6 p.m. exactly, or like 5 p.m., like an hour or maybe two earlier would be a huge difference, right? Um, right now we're doing it on the sevens, right? So yeah, if I could do it at 5 p.m. Pacific instead of 7, that was my initial thought. It doesn't necessarily have to be what we decide on, right? Even an hour would be a big difference, but 2 hours would be a game changer. I'm basically Pocahontas. Yeah, I just hear stuff on the wind whispering. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. And I also realized last night, this is fun. It is fun, but I've definitely been viewing this as like a task that needs to be done, and it is. I think we have an important mission here, but I need to remember that this is something that I set out to do. Like this is a mission that I set out on, and now we're at the best part of the whole mission. We're at the part where we actually get to have fun and make a difference and make change and build something together. So something it also occurred to me that I could have a little more fun, probably a lot more fun. So we're gonna have some more fun. But yeah, connection. If we don't all start connecting, and I'm not talking about us here because we're obviously doing a great job, but as a whole, as of humanity, if we don't start connecting, it's going to be the end of us. Um, like this is arguably the most important mission that there is. Um, you know, I don't know if you guys have heard about this generational gap um, that's happening with, I mean, not just our country, but other countries. Japan, in particular, is experiencing it full force right now. They have a gap in their generation because they're not having kids. So there are people now that are getting old that don't have kids to take care of them. if that makes sense. There's no one to step in at the job level, at the personal level, at the societal level. So they're having um, economic and social hardship because of this. And inevitably, if it's allowed to continue, if they continue not having children, they're going to die out. We are going to suffer the same fate because we're headed in the same direction. So it's super important that we connect because otherwise we're going to not connect. And not connecting means not having children. I mean, I know I hate to sound like a scientist about it, right? Having kids is supposed to be fun. You know, you're supposed to go out and meet people and do a little doink doink, and it's great. You know, it's supposed to be a fun thing. But you know, people just aren't doing it. Uh, so yeah, connecting not only is a tool for recovery and a path to recovery, but it's gonna be the savior of the human race at the end of the day. So yeah, go out there and procreate, I guess is my message today. um, but yeah, anyways, you could take your time, but I think connecting is important. All jokes aside, I think connecting is very important, and it's much more than just recovering. It's much, much more than just recovering. Yeah, the crazy girl says, Captain, you'll have to inform me. I stopped watching the news. I also don't watch the news. I get most of my updates from my maternal grandpa, and he has the sitch. But yeah, no, there's it's not just Japan, it's not just us. There's I think it's just the way the world is going with the advent of the way technology and communication, the way that social media and all these platforms work now. Our transition as a race of humans is just not very clean. You know, we're not mingling, we're not connecting, we're not being social. You know, we're isolating. We're all embarking on a different kind of human journey, which is inevitably gonna lead to our demise if we can't connect. Because if you don't have kids when you get old, there's no one to take care of you, and there's no one to do the jobs that you were doing. The society collapses on a generational scale if you don't have kids. Yeah, and Shannon Smith says, and personal communication skills are suffering. You know, on top of that. Um, so yeah, yeah, connection is really important. I feel like I blazed through all of that. I was so excited. When I get excited, one thing about me is I talk really fast. I get lots out there, and then I just feel like, oh, God, now I gotta wait a second because it was a lot. But it's a lot to unpack there. Stages of relapse, connection, procreation, and you know, I think it's akin to connection. Some of the most important work that we can do, and some of the most important things you can do for yourself is processing through your trauma and doing what you can to be better and feel better. You know, to do what you can to live better. Right. That goes back to the recovery. One of the reasons that we journal and one of the reasons that this journey is important is not only to live a better life and get off drugs or substance or whatever we were holding ourselves back with, whatever we were afflicted and plagued by, but also to what was I saying? To live a better life, right? I don't know. Gosh darn it. Anyways, son of a biscuit eating bulldog. No worries, SB. We're glad you're here. It does seem like society enforces isolation. It does kind of seem like, without getting too conspiracy centric, it does kind of seem like the system is set up like to facilitate such a transition um, into oblivion, so to speak. I don't know if they have the foresight to notice that. I think they're just focused on their own plates. When I say they, I mean like the people that make the laws and enforce them. I'm a, it, Zen Wen sends a Zen Wen says, "I didn't realize anybody else said son of a biscuit." Yeah, when I try to be less of a sailor, fun, creative stuff comes out for sure. Sourdough biscuits. Tara, have you ever tried your hand at making your own sourdough? It's quite a fascinating process. Once you get like one culture going, it can like procreate forever basically. You can keep like one strain of sourdough going for multiple loaves, if that makes sense. I don't necessarily understand how it's done, but I had some friends back in Salt Lake that would make their own sourdough, and it was just pleasant. Very pleasant. I think I'm going to take this off today, guys, since we're talking about relapse and humility and procreating. Get a little more personal. COVID kind of seemed to me like a test. I'm just going to get that out there, out of the way. Years, huh? Lacey Silver knows a thing or two about the sourdough. Yeah, I love sourdough. Tara says, I was thinking of sending in a photo of my sourdough starter as a pet photo because I don't have a pet. Her name is Vicky. That's hilarious. I would have thought it was funny. I might have drawn like a little face on Vicky and then put it up anyways, just because I think it's funny. Kristen Melinda says, procreating, in parentheses, having a child, was the most terrifying yet most important thing I ever did. I'm not sure I can do it a second time though. And I'm actually not telling you to go out and procreate. I guess I should say that I was just kidding. That this brings with it a whole lot of responsibility, and you shouldn't just procreate because someone tells you to, for sure. But I think that the importance of procreation is being understated in today's society. I don't think that I know that we're not procreating as much as generations before us did, and I'm only now realizing how bad that can turn out to be. You know what I mean? That's all. That's all. Do y'all's things. I personally don't have kids and have a hard time wrapping my brain around the responsibility that I see that comes with that. So, you know, trying to see my own way out of my own head as well. Lol. Do you have a little bag stroller for Vicky? Info dump truck says procreation's overrated. Well, the furthering of the human race is a little overrated. Might say that too. Shannon Smith says we don't need to have kids to work our farms. Well, when you get old and pass on, who's going to work the farms then? Is the point. Like, it's not about your lifetime, it's about generations, and it's about the human race, is what we're talking about. Um, you won't even know the people that created, like, so the current landscape, the way things are now, the people that made that happen have passed on already. There's no one even to be held accountable. We just have to pay it forward if we want the human race to survive. I mean, if you're into robots, I don't know how into robots I am. I'm not a robot. I have a hard time empathizing with robot. I've got 6 nieces, Millie says. Yeah, I could have more siblings for sure, but whatever. I used to think like having a bunch of kids was whack. I used to think to myself that's super dumb. Kids are dumb. I hate kids. But I don't know. It's hard to preach procreation and whatnot when I'm conflicted on it myself. It's much easier to preach love when I know the power. I know the power of love and the healing properties and yada yada yada. Sourdough naan. Where has that been all my life? So dang tasty, I bet. Those of you out there that have procreated, I appreciate that. I appreciate the procreation that's been going on, you know? Hmm. So yeah, how am I going to live different moving forward? How am I going to stop myself from progressing through stages of relapse? Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to journal twice a day. I'm going to make sure I'm doing that every day. I'm going to make sure I'm getting back on that exercise. I'm not taking days off, right? I've been way too lax and lenient with that, and I'm going to clean the dang house. You know, I'm going to get the kitchen and the living room, the whole place is gonna. We're going to get it fixed up. You know, I'm going to act like I care. I'm going to act like I like living here. You know, that like I love my life. You know what I mean? Because I do. I don't know why I pretend not to. What the heck? So those are three big steps right there, right? Plus the sleep and nutrition being on point. Screw this splitting my day into two. Whose genius idea was that? That was my genius idea. I can't believe I did that. You know, and then I'm wondering why I feel crazy because I'm not getting REM sleep. You know, things are starting to look like lucid dreams in real life. It's like, dude, no, 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 no. We need 8 hours of sleep every night. So yeah, we're gonna quit screwing around. I can't believe I did that and thought that was a good idea. I can't believe I'm astounded looking back. So these are all things that I know. The past couple of days I've been talking about juggling balls as a metaphor to when referring to taking steps in my life. I just dropped a bunch of balls, like a bunch of balls that I totally know the deal with, balls that I have mastered, that I've had in the air for a while. You know, the journaling, the exercise, the sleep and nutrition, none of those were an issue. And now all of them are in question. You know, it's not a, when you look at it like that, it's not a surprise that that I was progressing through stages of relapse. Seven Son says, I have a son that is the fruit of my loins, and a daughter that is the fruit of my heart. What's beautiful? Seventh. I I've been known to master some balls, Kristen. Not above it. Definitely not above it. That's funny. Kristen says, tee hee, balls that you have mastered. Yeah, Zelda Z. Zelda Z says, I think that sometimes we have to stop taking ourselves so seriously and just have fun. For real. For real. You know, and at the end of the day, like this may have been my whole purpose. This mission right here. I'm great at it, and I know these things to be true. My life has proven it to me. My beliefs align with the boats because like life has shaped me to be this person. You know, I am who I am. I think we are all the product of our experiences, right? The only way to change is to, um, I guess, change experience, right? To live different, to live as if. So, um, yeah, it's all divine. It's all meant to be. It's only up to me to accept and embrace and do my best, right? Which are three things that are easily done. I just really need to surrender, just accept that this is how it's going to be. Okay, here we go. You know, I know what to do. Why is it so complicated? Well, because I make it that way. Well, because I make it that way. I bet y'all do that too. I can't be the only one. You know what I mean? But even if I was, I know that about myself. So here's to the future and the present moment. I tell you what, I'm really excited. I'm really, really, really excited. I thought a lot about my dad last night. I tell you what. I tell you what. We have both been in a funk. We had like a little heart to heart this morning before the boat. Shout out to my dad. Love you, Admiral. Admiral. You know? But yeah, really excited for the future and the present. I miss that guy, even though he's right down the street and we see each other every day. Like, I'm looking forward to hanging out and getting together. I wonder if his back could swing a golf club. That would be pretty cool. I know I asked him that and he gave me a detailed answer and I forgot what it was. So we're gonna see if he wants to swing a golf club. I think that would be pretty cool. Yeah, Shannon Smith says I miss your dad too. Me too. We miss the Admiral. Wasn't it cool to have him on the other morning when he hit me up in the morning and said, "Hey, can I jump in there?" I was like, "Heck yeah!" I thought that was going to be so cool. I didn't know exactly how much he or how exactly much he felt like he wanted to do, but I'm glad he was feeling it because that was a great show. I enjoyed that. Sandy Wendy asks, "Do you all golf?" That's something that Papa Scoville was really into. That's something that my dad taught me to do, and his dad taught him to do. And it's something that we've all done together. So it is kind of like a Scoville family tradition, I would say. Skiing more so, but when Papa Scoville was involved, it was always golf for sure. So thank you for saying that, Zarina. I love your name, by the way. I am fascinated and intrigued by the dynasty of the old dynasty of Russia, and the czars, the royal family, as it were. And I really dig history. Yeah, isn't he, Lacey? Lacey says Admiral is looking much better than he was. I can't tell you, like in person, it's like a huge difference, like a glow that he's got, like a spring in the step, like a glimmer in the eye. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's from Killington, I believe. Hmm. Thanks for spending the morning with me, everyone. I was doing songs of the day before everyone got here. It was just a few of us. I was listening to "Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You" by Led Zeppelin, and then "Some Broken Hearts Never Mend" by Don Williams came on right after. So those are my two. They're pretty good, pretty solid. Coffee black, cigarette. Start this day like all the rest. First thing every morning that I do is start missing you. Yeah, it's a good one. That one's classic. Classic. My pleasure, Mira. Kristen. Wouldn't be the same without you. I tell you what. I tell you what. I woke up this morning like trying to do the boat. Shout out to Plant Freak for taking a little clip of me doing my dance yesterday and sending it to me. That was cute. It definitely was just cheese grinning in bed, just ear to ear. Like, dang, now I'm trying to go to sleep and I'm just thinking about this hilarious still frame of me. Yeah, you guys rock. You guys kick ass. Thanks for saying that, Carol. Carol says my voice is calming. It kind of went like this, Shannon. It was similar. It was akin to that. Usually my voice is much better, but I'm a little croaky in the morning, and I got scared. So I didn't do it proper. Yes, this can be done. I can't remember what happened with the shorts. I was supposed to do a bunch of shorts and something happened with it, but it doesn't matter because I'm steering now. So I'm gonna steer us into some shorts eventually. There's a lot going on, but once I organize it, like we just talked about all of the ways that I'm not organized, basically, right? All those things that led to my stages of relapse. So we knock all that back into place, and it won't seem so insurmountable to do what I need to do to get all these different objectives done. So I'm really excited. I'm much more effective when I'm balanced, and it's really really crazy inside my head when I'm unbalanced. So there's that. There's that. It's going to be a world of difference, people. Oh, Matrix route. I hope you feel better. I usually do start the morning singing or jamming or dancing at the very least. Since starting doing the boat all the time, I've been. I want to take this stuff off. It's getting to that point where I'm sick of looking at it, but I'm like, I really do want it to grow out. I don't know. I might do the undercut again. Been considering it because I like the long hair, but I also like having short sides. What do you guys think? In the comments, email me, whatever, in the chat. Let me know. You think I should undercut it? Or should I just tuck through and let the sides and the back grow out so that they're long? We're talking like a year plus of like just toughing it out. It will hit different levels, right? It won't be so annoying the whole time. It's probably going to be the most annoying now for the next few months. But what do you think? Undercut would be sweet, Jason. I miss it. Be great for the summer. That's right. Like it back off the face. I do too. But then I get, see this little guy. Someone didn't raise him right. I don't know who he thinks he is. Whatever. I'm just gonna ignore it. Alfalfa. Info Dump Truck says undercuts are for queer women. I don't know if that's a very nice thing to say, but you seem to be an expert. Cute cow licking Spanx. That is what that's called, huh? I've got one like right in the center in the back, or maybe it's on the top. I can't remember. It's like right like offset where my soft spot is. I'm trying not to take myself too seriously, Info Dump Truck. This is a safe space, and I need to make sure that it's safe and stuff. But I feel like I react poorly to jokes sometimes, so I'm working on that. So I appreciate your patience. I do. We need to have humor, and we need to tell jokes and whatnot. And I don't think that all the woke and cancel culture stuff is. I don't buy it. You know what I mean? Like, so I think it's funny, but it's just in text. It's hard for me to interpret, and I care about the boat so much that I like react in certain ways. So I'm sorry if I've in the past reacted poorly to people's intended humor because that's not my intent. So I appreciate you sticking it out with me. I appreciate you meaning well. Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm working on it too. Man, I just got so hungry. It's hard for me to eat like right when I get up. I did eat a little bit, but I'm gonna chow down after this and probably go to the gym, and then the rest of the day will be better for it. When I get the fresh undercut brazy, I'll make sure we have really good lighting in here on that day. My grandma actually sent me money to go get a haircut, and she actually sent it like in a letter. She sent me a check, and with the letter, she like hand wrote me like a little thing and had like a watercolor that she had painted. It's so cool. I should show you guys. Is it right here? Oh, it is. I think that's hilarious. Send me a picture when it's done. So we're gonna get the undercut. I'll have to go find a barber that I trust to give me a fade. So maybe I won't go get a fade. Maybe I'll go find a barber just to cut it and I'll judge their technique or something. I don't know. You probably just have to try. You know what I There's nothing I hate more than a poorly done fade. Are y'all familiar with the fade haircut? It's kind of like buzzing the sides, but you do it in a way where it tapers. So like it's shorter here than it is like right up next to the hairline. It kind of goes out. Um, and there's a bunch of different like ways to, or there's different techniques to do it. There's different like the sharpness of like how the angle of it, I guess, right? How much difference it is between here and here is it can be different, and there's lots of different fades, right? But it is a poorly done fade is a common thing, and yeah, a bad fade can ruin a man's confidence, as Mira. Yet, if I have a bad fade, I just take a razor to it, the whole thing. I'm not down. Got my lines all messed up, like oh gosh, uh, you know. So I got to go find a decent fade in town. I'm sure that this town's got to be the king of fades. There's so much fadeable hair out here. We'll say that. I think you might be right, Zelda. Zelda says, I think it might be the Admiral's first feelings of true freedom. And I have been visualizing this moment for him for so long. He deserves it. He's done a lot of hard work, and it hasn't been the easiest to work with me. I'm sure. So, shout out to the Admiral. What a guy. Teresa says, sounds like you need to look for a hip black barber. See that this. I think this is the right thinking, but my hair is fundamentally different, and like from black hair. So there's that too. I definitely need someone that knows how to fade white hair. This like super fine. Is it fine? I don't know what it is, but it's different. It's not coarse, and I guess it's fine. Yeah. King of Afro. Holly Larson says something that I was thinking about last night. 3 shows, 8 hours apart, with one ripple to give you evenings off when needed. I was thinking about that, even just with one ripple, but we've got multiple ripples. So before we enact something that solid, especially like what if the ripples blow up? I had this thought, right? What if we have a whole bunch more ripples, all of a sudden, and then we're going to change the schedule again. And if you divide it by a different number than 24 hours, right? A whole day, we're breaking up a whole day. If you divide it by another different number, it's going to throw off all the time slots. So instead of shaking it up continually, I think I'm going to. This is an idea that I've had, and I am considering it. But I'll do 2 shows, 8 hours apart, and we're going to try and fill a third slot. Basically, is how we're going to start. I think so. But again, I'm not making that decision right now. I'd like to think about it for a day or two. This morning, when I brought it up, it seemed like everybody was on board and really wanted to do an evening show an hour or two earlier. But we're going to take a little time and not be rash. But this is something that I've been visualizing. This right here, 3 shows, 8 hours apart. And like, just wait till, give it like a month or two. It's gonna look wildly different. I would be willing to put money on it. I would be willing to bet. I think that once we start, um, what's the implementing the things that we've been visualizing, right? Once we actually get rubber to road and start hitting the gas on this, you'll be amazed at the distances we travel and the places that we go and the things that we see. So strap in. Everybody's got seatbelts on their cell phones. I imagine. Strap it in. As Zelda Z says, grow it out. Subi, are you out of here? Have a great day. Yeah, I mean that. I think that would be a great idea if the ripples could alternate the third slot. But I mean, the idea is to have 24 slots, right? Every hour. I mean, that's the goal. We're covering all of the ground that there is to cover. That's the ultimate goal. So I don't want to limit the ripples. If any ripple wants to come on at any time, I think the one thing holding us back now, is me not doing restream. I'm going to do that this morning as soon as I get done with the gym. That's the plan. I got to take care of my mental health and my physical health, both in one fell swoop by eating food and going to the gym. So I'm going to do that this morning. But before lunch, we'll be working with restream and at least seeing starting that journey. So like the other ripples will all be able to jump in after I get restream going, from what I understand. So can't tell you how excited I am. I mean, I can. I'm having a hard time describing it. I'm having a hard time translating the emotions into words. All buckled up, says Millie. I love your name too, Millie the dandelion. I just picture you, this fluttery flower, just kind of blowing in the wind and looking like a sunshiny sunflower, but a little one. Just a little sun. Old math says 8 hours apart is 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. New math is 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. Well, I was told there would be no math, so my initial thought was 2 hours difference from what I'm currently doing. So I guess that would be 10 hours with the old math. I'm actually good at math. I just don't try and care. Thank you, Sarina. Sarina says, don't put too much pressure on yourself, my dude. Easier said than done. Definitely always. And especially for me, I feel like it's really easy for me to say things, right? So I try not to say too much as a general rule, because then I'll have a hard time following through on all of it. Tara smiling, I might have to do some yoga today too. Tara says I'm inspiring her to do some yoga. I'm great with a calculator, says Miradira. Calculators are pretty sweet. I remember I used to make it say boobs when I was a young man. There was a few things we could make it say. I forget the other ones, but everybody knows boobs. Everyone's a fan of boobs, right? Although my shadow looks like Sideshow Bob. Oh my. Oh my. Well, nobody said he wasn't an interesting character, right? I think that's a cool visual with the dandelion untamed curls. Cheryl Nile says, Captain, as a fellow Pisces, I can totally relate to you. I get that like so often. Like people tell me like, wow, you're fishy. It's like, wow, you're really a Pisces. I get that so often. I must be wait till you see like the Aquarius part come out. I definitely I have like this duality of the fishes, right? The spiritual and the physical sides, but I also have like this complete shut off of emotion. Like I have this ability to be like this cold, I don't know, and maybe I don't fully understand my Aquarius side very well because I don't think that Aquariuses are necessarily like cold beings, but definitely have the ability to turn the emotion all the way off and be a logic person. Good old days, the good old days, the good old days. Remember when our teachers said we wouldn't always have calculators in our pockets? I do remember that. And I remember thinking to them, this shows what you know. You know what I mean? Like, of course I am. What are you talking about? Got one in my pocket right now, actually. Like, what's stopping me from having a calculator in my pocket? Silly, silly human, you know? I'm smart and you're dumb, obviously. I don't need to come to this school. That was probably the beginning of my distrust of school system. Isn't that wild, Serena? Sometimes when I get real riled up, like you can really see my dad and me. Like we get riled up the same way. Um, but I mean, I guess that's because he raised me. I also have, well, I have had lots of Libras in my life. I guess one of my best friends is a Libra, but I have definitely let some Libras go in the recent past. They needed to go though. We were headed in different directions. I guess it wasn't that they had to go; it's that we were leaving each other. Cheryl Niles, you're like the first day of Pisces. That's really cool. Cheryl says my birthday is the day before yours. Two fish swimming in opposite directions. Yeah, I don't really put a whole lot of stock into astrology either, Kristen. I just think it's fun. I think it's a lot of fun, and some of it does ring true. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I'm not basing any decisions off of this. I'm not, for sure. Deeming says Pisces are definitely empathy. It can wear us down. It's important for me to establish boundaries quickly with new people. It's important for me to have boundaries in general, just because of this. Because if I'm not aware and paying attention, I can just give all my energy away, or I could like take like someone's pain onto myself, like or like whatever I perceive to be. I don't know how to exactly describe it, but like I can damage and change the course of my day just by not being aware of like what's around me and what I'm doing and where I'm at. Pretty wild, but I'm pretty good at it. So it's not often you'll catch me slipping these days. Yeah, I do have a little explosive anger, but I don't really. I could probably count on one hand the times that it's gotten to that level in recent years. So there's that. If I ever get to a point where I'm having like where like I realize like whoa, I'm in that place where I'm having a hard time like controlling my anger, like that's a huge red flag. Like that's like the flag is on fire. You know what I mean? The flag is now a bonfire when I find myself in that place. Like I should never be in that place. If I'm playing my cards right, if I'm minding my p's and q's, uh, I should never ever be in that place. So y'all probably will never see that, but hey, who knows? I should never say never. Probably. Lacey Silver says, I'm a true Sagittarius. I have dated quite a few Sages, I have to say. And I was surrounded by Sagittarius in the height of my fire spinning, my fire dancing career. My girlfriend and like three of my best friends around me were all Sagittarius. Yep. Jess, Hannah, Clayton. Who am I forgetting? There's more. Jamesy Boy. I think Jamesy Boy is a Sag too. Yeah, I'm forgetting one. I think there was like five. Just a bunch of centaurs running around me on fire. Pretty wild. I've had a lot of time to practice. SB says it's awesome that you can recognize the flags. Yeah, I've had a lot of practice, and I've nothing but time to fall down and skin my knee. Solid Capricorn, says Rocket Queen. I do enjoy adventures, I have to say. Twirl fire at the football games. That sounds pretty sweet. I was like a full blown adult by the time I had witnessed this for the first time. Layla Bradley says, "Would you be comfortable getting into a relationship with someone in recovery?" That is a good question, and the answer is probably more complicated. I don't know. I don't know if it would be. This is something I think about a lot. Like, I don't know if it would be preferable that they can relate with the struggle, or if they know it not at all. Which is better? This is a great, like, we could do a whole show on this just in itself. I don't know. The way that I usually answer this question for myself and solve the riddle in my head so that I can stop giving it energy and time and stop thinking about it and move on is what I my answer for myself is usually that I don't get to choose who comes into my life. I just get to accept who they are, and if they want to be here and they're they belong here, and it's just for me to accept, right? So I try not to put too much energy into thought processes like that because I feel like they're not serving me ultimately. When whoever's going to be in my life is going to be in my life, and I get to evaluate if their relationships, if we're serving or not. Like, I'm confident whoever I'm meant to be with is going to be like, boop, here I am. Um, and I'm not waiting for this person either. But like, I'm confident that this isn't something that I need to worry about. And the reason I feel that way is because I've spent so much time worrying about it ad nauseum, just beating my head against a wall, just like visualizing, like desiring, like it's you know, in an unhealthy way. So definitely let go of all of that and just kind of take what comes, Layla. Thank you for asking that question. Wow, what a great question. Tara Smiling says, "Great question," from the great question asker herself. I hope I'm not embarrassing you or putting you on the spot. If I am, please let me know. I think it's fun. So if we're not having fun, let me know so I can change my ways. Info Dump Truck says, "I didn't find my husband until I swore off dating." Yeah, it seems it's interesting how that works. I feel like that there's a reason for that. I feel like there's definite power in the letting go of. Sweet, that's good to hear, Tara. Cheryl Niles, "I couldn't have said it better. I spent many years processing. Now it just is what it is." It's like the essence of life right there, I feel like. What's the meaning of life? It just is what it is, you know? That's how I feel. That's how I feel. You guys want to see the full Sideshow Bob version? It's so bad. Oh my gosh. I'm getting more into the undercut like by the second. This morning when I got up, it would just sit straight sideways, but it doesn't want to do it now. Yeah, I think I am going to go get an undercut, everyone. Lol, Brazy Girl, that's so funny. Robin Miner says, "I had given up too, then he showed up in a jacuzzi on vacation." Wow. Picturesque. That's pretty sweet. Fell from the sky, landed in the jacuzzi, said hello there. Nice to meet you. Love it. Love it. Wow, I don't want to get out of here, but I do. It's time to eat. Lol. Found my ex in a laundromat. That's pretty classy. I like that. What are some weird places that I've met girls that I've dated? No, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. Not at all. Casey says, "Work on loving yourself. As you learn to love yourself, heal yourself, forgive yourself, you will change into the you were meant to be in this lifetime." And this is the essence of it right here, folks. Casey gets it. Casey gets it. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing right here. Learning to love ourselves, heal ourselves, forgive ourselves. Stepping into our power. And love today. That's right. I love today so much, I'm going to go feed myself. I hope y'all have a great one. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. And yeah, haven't worked out my sign off yet, but I definitely feel like loving yourself is a part of my message. We definitely want to love ourselves and heal ourselves and forgive ourselves. So let's show ourselves a little compassion today. All right. We'll see you this evening. If any of my ripples want to get on today, reach out. Cheers. Make it great.